Ladies and gentlemen, we got the best news of the decade. The government just changed a policy that undoubtedly favors NIO to the max. All right, everybody's going to be eventually forced to buy a NIO because of this one policy. Let me explain what this is all about. This is so damn good, and this is going to help NIO succeed. It's going to force NIO to be successful. That's how impactful this policy is. So some of you guys might not be too familiar with something called annual inspections for the automobile. In Canada, there are no such thing as annual inspections. You see cars driving on the road with broken windows, or the headlamps aren't working, and you can still drive the car. But here in China, every year you have to get your car inspected. All right, it just basically makes sure that you have everything intact, the airbags haven't popped or that kind of stuff, and to make sure that it's safe to drive on the road. And this is, of course, a very big deal. Now, the big policy is that starting on March 1st next year, remember this date, March 1st next year, battery inspection is made a mandatory inspection criteria. Previously, it hasn't been a mandatory inspection criteria, but now the government is finally adding it in because of all the spontaneous combustions and all those EV charging fires and this other brand, or many other cars, rock hits the bottom of the car and catches fire because it just a little tiny pebble bumps into the battery pack and it catches fire. I'm not going to say which brand, but I think you know which brand. Peng. Yeah, you know which brand it is. They're also listed. But all this kind of mumbo jumbo, battery fires, lots of BYD battery fires, they're all because the battery might not be up to par. And also because of battery degradation. We know that battery swap solves all these problems. But what does this truly mean? All right. Well, with these inspection, all right, we're going to have, there's roughly 24 million new energy vehicles that are older than 8 years old that are outside of their battery warranty. And when these cars get inspected, all right, you're going to have either two situations. Either their battery is okay, all right, it's still healthy, no degradation, which will be kind of hard to see, hard to happen, and it's safe to go on the road, or the battery needs to be replaced. Right? In the West, replacing a battery is more of a, I think my battery is old, I want to get it replaced, or my battery doesn't get me the range I want, I need it replaced, that kind of stuff. But here, now it's being forced. If your battery doesn't meet the standards the government set, both when it comes to degradation and also safety, aka like voltage wise and current wise, like and also like the outside shell of the battery pack, is it like safe and stuff? If it doesn't meet that standard, then you're going to have to replace it. You're going to have to replace the battery pack or mandatorily total that car. Two hard choices. Do you just totally total the car, make it worth nothing but scrap metal, or do you replace the battery? And because a lot of these cars, 24 million cars outside of the battery warranty, what's going to happen? You're going to have to go out of your own pocket to replace that battery pack. And that costs a whole lot of money. And for some cars, because of depreciation, the cost of replacing the battery is probably more than the cost of that car itself. All right, the car probably worth maybe 50% of what it used to be worth when you bought the car, bought the EV. But now, replacing that battery pack itself costs that same amount of money. All right, so that's absolutely crazy. And in certain situations, the cost to replace the battery pack is more than the brand new car. In Canada, Ioniq 5, notorious for having a battery replacement cost more expensive than the brand new purchase price of the car. Here in China, Polestar, replacing the battery pack is more expensive than buying a brand new Polestar, simply because of manual labor, getting the parts and installation fees, all sorts of jumble mumble. You put that together, it's more expensive than buying a brand new Polestar. So the government is forcibly making a lot of these EVs that don't qualify, the batteries don't qualify, all right, degradation too much or safety not there, to mandatorily change batteries, to swap batteries, which will be very expensive. And even if you're inside the warranty, all right, of course, no company wants to fork out that hefty bill. They're going to find all sorts of excuses to deny you that battery replacement. For example, some companies, they have like a rule where it's like if the battery is degraded under 80%, then you get a free replacement. But what might happen is the battery hasn't reached that free replacement threshold of 80%. Maybe say it's 85%. However, that battery still doesn't meet the Chinese government's inspection standards. So you're forced to replace the battery, but it doesn't meet the free battery requirement, the free battery replacement requirement. So what do? Right? Do you go out of your own pocket, even though you're in warranty? Do you go out of your own pocket to pay for that bill? Or do you just give up the car? All right? You total the car, make it worth zero, not drive it on the road. You can't even drive it on the road. Do you want to sell it? Who's going to buy it? Nobody's going to buy it. You can't even drive it on the road. Who's going to buy it? So a lot of these people are going to learn a very hard lesson that you got to have battery swap, right? You got to have a situation where you don't have to worry about the battery problem. And with NIOs, even if you have any sort of battery problem, inspection problem, doesn't meet the standard, which it never should, because NIO has guaranteed that all the batteries inside the swap ecosystem is healthy, all right, is good. Even if, let's say, one of the battery isn't healthy, you just go for a battery swap and then go do the inspection again, all right? So, but for other cars, they don't have that privilege. And even right now, you're seeing a lot of early BYD owners and a lot of other early EV owners switch to a NIO simply because of battery swap. They've learned it the hard way. All right, they learned it the hard way through time that if you don't have battery swap, that's just a huge problem down the line when it comes to having old battery. And now with this policy, it's just forcing everybody, all the new energy vehicle owners, not just the EVs, also the hybrids, right? That if you can't do battery swap, you're going to be stuck with a very expensive battery replacement bill that most likely the automaker will not pay out for, all right? And you'll just be stuck in this dilemma. So this is undoubtedly one of the biggest news ever, and it favors NIO. It makes it so that in the future, when you buy EV, if you don't want to worry about battery problems, you have to choose a car that can do battery swap here in China. And that is, of course, NIO. And you don't have to worry about being out of warranty and battery being an issue, all that kind of stuff. So this is why this is so damn bullish, so damn good. So give it some time. You know, people are going to learn the hard way. Starting March next year, you're going to see people complain, oh my God, my car, it's out of warranty. I got to replace it. It's so expensive. It costs more than the cost of the car. Yeah. And they can't drive it on the road. This is, of course, also a very good tactic for sales reps to use to get more sales. You know, you wanted to buy that, but think about the battery inspection down the line. That's going to be a problem. So it's going to help NIO out a lot. All right. As always, stay safe, stay healthy. Peace out.